Welcome, everybody, to Fashion Victuals Radio right here on RipRadioNetwork.com.
Okay.
As you can see, this is, I don't even know what week this is of quarantine.
It's Wednesday.
I don't.
Second week of April.
No, it's been 30, it's almost 30 days for me. Almost 30 days. So, as you can see, we have a guest in the building. Well, online. Why King? What's going on?
Yeah. What's happening, everybody? How y'all doing? Woo!
Feeling good. Trying to maintain through this whole bullshit,
Yeah, definitely. And I want to say I definitely admire y'all's consistency and like the dedication to delivering to the people, even in the quarantine. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate y'all for pushing me and patching me in. You know what I mean?
No problem. We do have a pretty much packed show today.
Okay.
Brian has a few topics that we're going to discuss in Fashion with Victuals news. We're going to get into your interview. But how have you all been dealing with the quarantine? I know how Brian's been dealing with it. How about you, Joaquin?
To be honest, I'm marvelous. I'm actually in a car out front of Cheesecake Factory ready to get some lunch. And I'm kicking it with y'all for a minute. Well, I mean, you know that 6 hour meeting I was in. You know,
that's true.
So I mean, it's dinner. I ain't eating nothing else, but it's beautiful out here. We lit.
I'm surprised you out and about, but that's dope though. I wish I could be out and about right now.
Yeah, I'm going home in a little bit.
How have you been maintaining? Like today, you had a 6 hour meeting. So have you literally been out and about out through the house through this whole process?
If I'm gonna be 100% honest, I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
I haven't really been around people like that though. If I'm like as far as concentrated events and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I go outside and walk. Shout out to my big bro Lou. Like we're running hills now, so we doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the market when I feel like it. You know what I mean?
I think that's.
But other than that, other than that, like I'm not out here like posted up in nobody's like house. Unless it's a shorty house, sorry. But other than that, you know what I'm saying? I'm cool. I try to stay home. It's really been great for focusing and really hearing what God has to say to me personally.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to get a lot of work done. I got a big website I'm about to drop soon, like within by the end of this week, going into next week.
Okay.
So I'm excited.
That's good. See, you making the most of your time.
Absolutely.
Brian, have you been maintaining?
Just like you said, I've been walking, keeping exercise. Actually, I've been surprised enough. It had to take a coronavirus to get me back into an exercise regimen.
Mm-hmm.
So, walking more. I do have sort of like an apparatus. It's a very, very small one, but I've been using that a lot more. Been getting hints and helpful hints from a lot of the fitness people that I follow on Instagram.
Good.
So, and things like that. And of course, cooking more, which mind you, I got some editorial shade about cooking and getting supplies for cooking. I have something for that when we get down to that.
Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you both have used this time to kind of work out, get fit. I've been total opposite. Like I was in the gym, I'm not in the gym. And honestly, being home doesn't really affect me to like, you know what, maybe I should work out more, but I'm going to try to get back into it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The first 2 weeks of it really threw me off. And, sometimes you go into a panic or like maybe even a depression a little bit. Mm-hmm. So for me, I know like sweets is a thing. And if I knew like at that time, that early, like 2 weeks, like I felt like I was going to be trapped in the house, I wouldn't grab some cookies and I shouldn't have. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, I don't know, like something, I just felt down. And I was like, well, I know I ain't about to go do what I would usually do. Let me grab these cookies and this ice cream because I know, we're going to be down for a minute. But then I realized that wasn't the right frame of mind to go into. You know what I'm saying? Just because the circumstances stops you from going to a physical place, you got to still stay focused on the habits that you formed and keep them out.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think that's my biggest thing is to try to stay focused right now because I've been under quarantine for quite some time. Again, it's going on. I think this week would be a month.
Yeah, officially a month. Yeah.
Yep, it'll be officially a month for me. Because the last day I was in my office was March 12th. So yeah.
Wow.
It takes. I'm trying to hold it together. Trust me. I haven't lost my mind yet. That's the good thing. But I will say this: I sneezed earlier, and my dog looked at me like I was crazy. So I think what's going on right now with the coronavirus.
Yeah, he was like,
"Why are you sneezing?" Yeah. So
you should have recorded that, and that could be your new gift.
Well, it's one of those moments where I was sitting down, I was watching TV, and I just so happened to sneeze, and then all of a sudden she just quickly whipped her head towards me, and I'm like, "Don't worry, I'm good." And then she just kind of stared at me for a couple more seconds, and then laid back down.
Like, yeah, all right, yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, we ain't having that.
It's been again, I've been sane. I will say that I've been sane for 30 days. I was going to the market a lot, but now the AKA the club grocery store is we got to be limited to going there now. The numbers have really gone up in Maryland over the past few weeks. Now, not weeks, days. I took a picture, a screenshot of the numbers in Maryland last Tuesday or Wednesday, and we were at 2,000. Now we're at 4,000. So all I can say, people, is just stay home. If it's not important, if you do not have to be out in these streets, just stay home. Like, we can't keep having these numbers go up. Louisiana got, I think, 14,000 right now. Yes. And we're way smaller, and our numbers are crazy. So, I mean, we got to do what we can. But other than that, again, we have a jam-packed show. We're going to actually take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to jump right into Fashion Victual News. And we have our guest, Y King, to give his opinions today on Fashion Victual News as well.
All right, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to Fashion Victual Radio. Right here on RipRadioNetwork.com. As you can see, we have a special guest with us today, Mr. Y King himself.
What up, what up?
Right. So let's go ahead and jump right into Fashion Victual News. Brian, what do you have for us today?
All right, Fashion Victual News brought to you by Chlorophyll. All right.
What?
What of that pill that Trump was trying to promote? But anyway, as we all know, many fast food joints have been providing their customers takeout and delivery options. Well, surprisingly enough, Shake Shack is taking it to another level with their delivery option. They've partnered up with Goldbelly, and pretty much Goldbelly is an online site that sells items from other restaurants to sell off do-yourself cheeseburger kits. Now, these kits consist of 8 potato rolls, 8 burger patties, 8 slices of American cheese, and the signature Shake Shack sauce. If you want any additional toppings, you'll need to provide them for yourself. These kits, surprisingly enough, will cost you $49 each. And Goldbelly's CEO Joe Ariel believes it's really worth it by stating that there aren't many comfort foods that touch my heart as much as the iconic Shake Shack burger. So that's
a attack in itself.
But surprise up, unless you're having a party, I don't understand having 8. I mean, unless you're able to space it out. I mean, but I don't want a week worth of burgers in my house.
No, I mean, I agree. That's too much.
Mm-hmm.
That's way too much.
Yeah. So, anyway, next is you're gonna love this nice little topic title. It's called "Stuck in Russia with Love."
I saw that on your email.
Yeah. So last Friday, many Americans were forced to stay in Russia because the Moscow International Airport closed their doors and stopped all flights from leaving, even those. Oh yeah, even those. Now, mind you, yeah, if you're familiar with the show, we've been talking about a lot of international flights, especially those are from Europe, trying to leave there. They get stuck because of either the airport or the airline closes down, and they're pretty much stuck for a couple of weeks. So it happened here again. The Russian Federation gave the okay for flights to leave early that morning, but even after closing their borders 2 weeks ago. But as those who were boarding the planes and about to head home, the Russian government stopped it without warning, and pretty much some of these planes are right on the tarmac and ready to about to go to the runway. That's when they immediately on the tarmac and about to head to the runway, and they shut it all down. So as of right now, 22,000 Americans are still stranded in overseas, including Russia, and are trying to get help from the U.S. embassies to see how they can get back home as quickly as possible. There have been some other people who've been other places being able to come back home. It can even be said for Russians and other international travelers who are stuck in the U.S. because they can't go home either. So
there's no airport.
Right. So it looks like the citizens of the superpowers will be having an extended vacation at each other's countries.
But the question is, being that we're going through a pandemic right now, what are the numbers in Russia?
That's the thing. No one knows. Russia has kept it so quiet. It's like, all right, are they good? Are they bad? No one knows what's their problem. Nobody.
Wow.
So that's been the very unusual circumstance over at the Berlin, the red curtain. So, but anyway, the Iron Curtain, as they said. All right.
Yeah, I'm not surprised at all about that. But go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
No problem. All right. Have any of you guys been to Ecuador?
No.
Okay. Well, if you do, there was
Ecuador is different.
Yeah, there was a notable site to go to in Ecuador, but unfortunately, somehow it disappeared.
What?
I'll tell you why. The famed San Rafael Waterfall on the Coco River in Ecuador sadly disappeared due to a sinkhole that was likely created in February. With the limited water coming down, the popular tourist attraction is no longer featured on the country's website. As of now, the Ecuadorian government has no plans to fix this natural problem. So pretty much it's like your known reason to be here is not worth coming to your country. It's gone.
Well, so is the money that they was going to make too.
Yeah.
Down the drain.
Yes, literally. And lastly, last week, Ben & Jerry's announced the debut of a new ice cream that was inspired by the Netflix baking competition show Nailed It. The new flavor is the new flavor is called Chipped Happens. So, but here's the thing. Based off the title, you would think that it consists of a large amount of chocolate chips, which it does, but it also has potato chips. So, chocolate and potato in ice cream.
That's
Any
nasty. It's nasty. I don't want it. I don't want vegetables in my ice cream.
That Tierra will like it either.
It doesn't sound very good.
It's nasty.
But
they don't have anything else to do.
Hey, last week they came out with another Netflix brand type ice cream, and that was supposed to be out like last month or so. So surprisingly, Ben Jerry's is keeping busy. And this, the chip happens. They will be pretty much debuting this. This already debuted in Australia, and it's getting some decent, okay reviews.
Okay, so
let me understand this. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So let me make sure I understand this. So we are in the middle of a pandemic, and Ben and Jerry wanna make chips, ice cream. Don't worry about it, guys. Want to make sure I understood. Just want to make sure I understood what was going on. So they're making ice cream. They want to ship out new flavors in the middle of a pandemic. Okay, all right.
Hey,
that's cool.
That's America. Keep making money.
That is America. Capitalism to the death. But go ahead.
So this is kind of like a treat of mine. Like, I love putting like different French fries in my ice cream.
That's cool. I'm not mad at you. I do that. I'm not mad at you. Chips. Yeah, we're not dipping chips. That's nasty. Right. And then what flavor too?
Yeah, that's.
I'm good. Well, right now it's just plain. So they won't. They don't want to. Definitely, you don't want to ruin the flavor with sour cream and onion or some weird crap like that. So
no.
But when you open the door, can you really tell somebody not to walk through it?
Hey.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it starts with plain now. Next thing you know, it's Obey. I'm over it. Please continue. So sorry.
And it's barbecue.
Mm-hmm.
Negative. Not gonna work.
It's enough for me, dog.
That is Faction Victual News.
All right.
Thank
you, Brian. So we're gonna take another break, and when we come back, we're gonna get into our interview with Mr. Y King right here on Faction Victual Radio.
All right, we're back from outer space. Tiara.
I know, my bad. I forgot my screen was closed. All right, let's get into it. Y King is on this show because he does a multiple amount of things as an entrepreneur and businessman. So what I want to do is talk to him about a couple things, but I want him to first tell us his long list of things that he is doing right now.
All right. So pretty much in a whole, I create bosses and change lives. That's what I do, right? I own a consulting agency, a marketing and promotion company for small businesses. I'm a certified life coach and a licensed financial advisor. And lastly, an entrepreneurship development coach guy. Because I'm in the music industry too. I know I had to swing that in there, but it all kind of works together as we continue this conversation.
Okay. Now, how did you get started in the consulting business?
Well, I started in the music industry as an artist, ground level, right? Okay. And I've had a 13-year stretch. I went through a lot of ups and downs, made some great, I was able to have some accolades, but then I kind of realized that God wanted me to be more so behind the scenes opposed to in front. Okay. I was already blessed with like business savvy skills. So once I realized how to convey my value and convey my expertise without delivering a service, I found out that was called consulting. As I continued to grow, and God expanded the vision, it turned into me recruiting and training other people who specialize in a field and teaching them the same tricks and skills that I have. And then they all represent my company, which is Caviar Society Incorporated.
Okay. Awesome. Now the industry side of it, that's something different. So you said you've been in the music business for 13 years. How do you said, and you started as an artist.
Yes,
ma'am. Are you still an artist in the business, or you on the back, like I guess the back office side of it?
To be honest, I'm always an artist. I'm always gonna be an artist at heart, right? Like I have an album out that's on all, socials, all streaming platforms, which is my debut album, which is Caviar Music, right? But I get more I do it now because I love it, but I'm not focused on it, if that makes sense. My main concern is the back end and really helping artists become better businessmen and women, and teaching them about like the seriousness of leverage in an industry that dangles what we view as success in front of us.
Okay. Okay. So now, with that being said, um, as you help artists, and I know that you meet many artists every day, what are some of the ups and downs that you think has been going on in the music industry as a whole when going into a consulting business?
I'm gonna say the top five. I'll say top five things that we'll do top three. I think that's for the time.
Okay.
The first thing is lack of knowledge.
Okay.
I think as consumers, we literally take hold to the product. So let me make that plain. Like, so if I'm watching like who you grew up on, right? Like me, I grew up on Hove, right? I wanted to be like Hove, but I wanted to be like Hove because of what he was to me on my TV screen, which was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, well, what makes you a rapper? If I spit dope rhymes, got a big chain, got a nice car, and that's it.
Right.
Some money, right? The second thing is, I get excited about all this, but I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I'm gonna chill. The second thing is and being real, like having real conversations with ourselves. I think that's a big thing that a lot of artists don't do. Once they have some type of ideology of themselves, like an idol that they create, they just buy into it, and that's it. Like the reality outside of their ideology doesn't exist. And then the third thing I would have to say is the ups and downs. Like the thing that I do notice the problem is a willingness to learn, like big time. So hope that answers your question.
Okay. Okay. What are some things that you can tell an artist right now if they're getting getting their feet wet, like getting their foot in the door right
now? Take a whole wait. Secure your personal life. To make that clear, meaning invest in yourself now. I don't just mean invest in your dream, but invest in a career, invest in a skill that's going to give you the capital that you need in order to properly invest in your dream.
I think that is very good advice. I think a lot of artists out here, especially those that are up and coming, don't realize how financially, how can I say this? It costs a lot. And the finance part of it is, oh, well, you see this and you want it, but you don't want to pay the money. But my thing is, it takes money to make money. And I think that a lot of artists miss that. And they think that, things are free. Like, honestly, okay, so I'm kind of old school. And I know how the industry was back in the day. I wasn't in it, but I've seen it, and it was a little more easier when artists could just kind of get on a label and they can make this money. But now, where we are now, the artist has to do a lot of grinding because these labels are giving them more flexibility to do their own thing. And it's either sink or swim when they get in the door. What do you feel as though with these labels today, these 360 deals that they offer an artist?
You said, what do I feel about the deals? To be honest with you, I'm gonna give you the real. They're not bad. The reason why 360 deals get a bad rap is because artists go into them not even understanding what it is and what it means. As a business owner, you recognize what it means to invest in something and then want an immediate return. What they're doing is protecting themselves. So what happens is we get this woe is me, right? Like this violin story of how they got taken advantage of. But if you would have taken time as an artist to think about yourself as more than an artist, right? And go into it from a business standpoint, you wouldn't have got that way. The fact is, the artists what they do is it's just like anything else. We want to buy in cheap so we can cash out high, right? So if I'm a label and I see you singing, T, right? You singing your little heart out, right? Your whole little neighborhood say, "Oh, we love her. She can sing so well," right? I say, "Cool," and I put in front of you $1 million. If I can afford to give you $1 million, what do you think I'm making? Right?
You're making twice as what you earn because you're in a 360.
But wait, but I'm saying not even off of you, just as the company, if I can position you with $1 million up front, that $1 million though is to ensure that you create a product that's going to make some money, right? The artist, go ahead.
No, it's an investment.
Right. So, but the artists don't think. The first thing that they do is buy liabilities. And so they're not thinking that money was a budget to create you a product that's going to make you more money later. And so the 360 is just an insurance plan to ensure that if you don't hit those numbers,
I get my money.
I'm going to recoup on my investment. And so if artists understood that, you know what I'm saying? Because that's why they usually aim for people that's in the hood. You know what I mean? They ain't never seen no money. You know, they not thinking about none of that. Yo, if I get this $1 million, you know, I can do this, that, and the third. I can, you know what I'm saying? They already spending money before they get it, not even thinking, yo, this money was actually for your photo shoot. This money was actually for setting up your studio. You know what I'm saying? Like those type of things. Like because there's so much knowledge and information out here, T. I'm gonna say that I'm not a fan of bad business, of cruel business. I don't believe in that. I believe in all businesses should act with integrity because it doesn't hurt to be righteous, right? Like it doesn't cost nothing to do the right thing,
right?
You know what I mean? But you as a business, like the opposite person as a business, you got to protect yourself too.
I totally agree. Especially as these up and coming artists are. I think that some of them do realize they got to put up or shut up. Because I've seen artists on my show who actually put up the money to do what they need to do, to get on shows, to get their bookings, to get in the studio. Like I admire artists who are grinding it out because they're better off being on an independent side of things than on a label. Because the money that they're recouping goes back into their pocket, opposed to like if you sign a deal, guess what? You're their investment. So they're expecting a return on their investment at that point. And when you don't have it and you're not producing, then guess what? They kick you. You got.
And they take your stuff back. They repossess all your stuff. And to piggyback on that, to share some more information with you, you know, there are different, as you already know, there are different contracts that can appear.
Absolutely.
What I don't want artists to think is that the labels are like they can't be used for their benefit, but it has to make sense for it to make sense. Like Nipsey waited years, rest in peace to the GOAT, waited years before he decided to sign a deal with Atlantic. Why? Because he had reached his max on his own. He used Atlantic for a joint venture deal. A joint venture deal means that both parties are putting up half in order to, you know what I'm saying? So he got a distribution deal with them because he knows that the industry is still responsible for relationships with the Super Bowl, high quality, you know what I'm saying? Like high class commercial, you know what I mean? Marketing that his team couldn't afford, or they wouldn't have done business with him because he's a black man. You know what I'm saying? So it just got to make sense. And a lot of artists at this point are not even willing to invest in consulting. They're not even willing to invest in coaching because a lot of these young bulls think they know it all, and that's why they get caught up in get taken advantage of, unfortunately.
Right. And that's true, and I agree. I think that a lot of the newer artists today are just still trying to figure it out because they see it on Instagram, they see the lifestyle and stuff. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, somebody either paid for it already or they earned their money to get to where they are.
You better preach.
So
go ahead. No, go ahead.
You go ahead.
I'm just tired. You was on it though. My fault, because you was preaching. That's facts. I'm personally tired of, and you can put me on record. My name is Chris King Jones. I am tired of us as Black people consuming the same old theory that we have to be broke in order to get put on. That is not true, and that is not real. The fact of the matter is, it makes more sense for us to invest in skills that will produce us the money, not only to pay for our bills and live a certain way, but to invest in your dream, because your dream is literally being built from the ground up. Even businesses is no different than if I wanted to start selling toothpaste. You know what I'm saying? I have to create the revenue or a budget in order to create the product, to market the product, right? Like, it's the same thing. And so these artists keep buying into this starving artist. You don't have to do that. You don't gotta be in the rain waiting for Lil Wayne to see you at a concert, hear your little 16 bars. You don't have to do that. That's why people like Young Dolph and certain other artists are respected, because they came with their own money. When you come with your own money, it is no longer exactly. It's no longer a deal. It's a negotiation of a partnership.
And I think what they also miss is branding themselves.
Come on in here.
When it comes to branding, and you actually either trademark your name, copyright it, like, let's be clear, that says a lot about how serious you take yourself as a brand. You and a lot of people and a lot of artists don't realize that you are a walking, talking brand. You market yourself as a brand. You go on Instagram, you go on Facebook, you put your music out, you do this, that, and the third, but you are a brand. So you have to respect yourself as one. I think that some of them do need some educational advice when it comes to branding and marketing and setting up a certain business on the back end. Because even though you may be you can be an artist 10 years, 20 years down the road, but that money is going somewhere that you need to invest it back into something. So when you're ready to say, you know what, I'm done with this, you've branded yourself enough that you can make money off of yourself doing other things. That's how I feel.
You the GOAT, because you are one of, I'm so serious. You know, I grew up in a time where even with drug dealers, like I'm not saying I'm a drug dealer, but what I'm saying is back in the 90s, in the late 80s, when they were hustling, they had an out though.
They did. They really did.
These artists don't have an out. So you get Rick Ross's, T.I.'s, Jay-Z's, David Banner's. Yep. All of these guys were able to get in, make an impact, and have an out. That's why Ludacris, I respect him, because Yo was fire as an artist, but he's an actor doing what he really wanted to do. Exactly. So, because that money, that music money is funny. I'm trying to tell you, like, niggas be, excuse me, people be thinking like, it's like that, like they really getting they really getting statement money as a rapper. Oh no, them actor checks hit different. Like, oh my gosh, I just want
on the back end. Those checks hit different. Stocks and investments.
Oh, you ready? I didn't know if he was ready. I didn't know if you wanted to segment in.
I'm just saying that, but when you get your first show check, I'm a firm believer in taking it and investing it somewhere else so you can triple your worth. That way, you still getting money on the back end, even though you're doing shows. But guess what? That first show check that made you like $70,000, $80,000 because you only got $20,000, $30,000 up front for a show. And you've already invested it somewhere where it's tripling the profit. And I think that's what a lot of them don't do up front. They just kind of take the money. It's like, oh, I need to get a chain. I need to get this. I need to get that. And it's like, invest it somewhere. Then worry about those things later.
And can we, and last part of that part though too, even with the show money, like I need artists to be, I need them to understand what's going on. You know what I mean? What's really going on out here? Them artists ain't them bags that they be getting, that walk through money ain't as much as people be thinking it is. You know what I mean? Like, now it depends on the tier of artists, right? Like, but some of them, like, because that's what I'm saying. Like, they see it and they just like, oh, that's gonna be like that for me. Oh, maybe not. Like, you really gotta work. Like You really got to earn that kind of money. Because how dare you ask me for $7,000 and 5 people won't even come buy your ticket?
So let me ask you this. What do you think about what happened with Megan Thee Stallion? Did you hear about her?
I did.
Okay.
I did, and I spoke on that. My issue with her is it's classic. We just said it. She didn't read.
Nope.
She got fronted with some money that she never had before. Right? She was able to get that extra look that she needed. They invested in her. I believe if she would have paid attention, because what happens is you sign deals because you really don't know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? You sign a deal and it's like, okay, guys, well, you believed in me enough to front me $10,000, whatever the amount was. You took the money, didn't you?
You
so
sure
when
did.
You take that money, right?
Okay.
When you take that, exactly. When you take that money, you got to understand as a business, if you worth now $1 million or something, why be selfish in the first place? My thing with her is your whole reasoning for what you're trying to do is selfish. Finish out your obligation.
Yeah,
that be people's problems. They want to jump ship and, oh, well, Rock Nation looking at me now. That's cool, sis. You're going to have to pay out, though. You have to pay out this contract. When all you had to do was say, all right, look, when I'm going to rock with them, can we come to a different type of agreement? Because even still, shout out to Rock Nation. Again, shout out Rock Nation. Okay, make sure I said that. Even with Rock Nation, you could have put up a joint venture deal. See, like people like with Dave East, I love, shout out to the homie, shout out to Harlem, all that. Like it's New York, what up? I love how he moved, pause. And the reason being is because even though he got the co-sign by Nas is signed to Def Jam, right? Sure. He has a joint venture deal with Mass Appeal in Def Jam. So when he got into it, he's not an industry puppet. That's why he can do what he want to do, and he's still able to get these looks, like getting a deal with Welch's Grape or New Era. You know what I'm saying? Being able to get those kind of deals because the way it's set up, it's a bridge. He still stayed with the parent company, but now he's breaking bread and still getting those distribution looks from Def Jam. That's how you gotta play it.
So what do you say to an artist, like I said, breaking into the industry for the first time, and they aren't on that level, like Davies or Megan Thee Stallion or Jay-Z, Nas, of course, but it takes years to get on their level.
Yeah.
But what do you say to an artist right now that is breaking into this and they finally got their maybe first show check? Can you hear me?
I would say, did they get the back or they got the front? Yeah, can you hear me? Did they get the front end?
They on the front end. They just finished their first show. They got their first check. What do you tell an artist that needs to, like, is ready? Like, they hype about their first check. Oh, yeah. You know how they are. They like
reinvest it. So reinvest it, and it sounds cliche, but I will reinvest it. I will put at least, depending on how much money is it, depending on how much money it is, buy stock. You know what I'm saying? And just reinvest it, but reinvest it into a team. If you got a homeboy that got a camera, you know what I'm saying? Invest in him. If you got a homegirl that do such and such, like create your team from the inside.
Yeah.
Because what happens is the bigger you get, when them labels come, they're expenses, right? So when they bring you these high class people and all that, guess whose money that's coming out of?
The label.
And guess who they're taking it from?
You.
Exactly. So if you can minimize the need for their stuff and you come in prepared, all that money over here. You know what I'm saying? So they're going to be responsible for making your brand look even better. You know what I mean? So when you go from the regular little iPhone camera and you just blessed your man with a Canon, now he got you looking like you in a movie now. Oh. And he can make more money on the side. That's how you build. You know what I'm saying?
I do believe that any and every artist needs to form a team around them. And because you got to have your best, they have to always have, one, your best interest at heart. Two, they always have to look out for you, knowing that you are the artist. They need to have their focus on you. And three, They need to be close to you, because at the end of the day, if you don't have anybody close to you who's willing to spend time with you and, from your standpoint and be on your side, then they're not on your team. Like the main thing that I think every artist needs to do is have a team. And honestly, any business person or entrepreneur needs to have a team. As hard as it is, sometimes you do have to have a team.
Right. And understand and I'll add on to that, because those are great points. And I agree with them 100,000%. I think honestly that's what kind of, if I'm gonna be transparent, like I didn't go as far as I could have went. Right, because I didn't understand that, and that's where God gets all the glory from, and why I'm able to talk to so many people, because it's not about what I did do, it's about me learning from what I didn't do, telling you so you don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I can prove that not doing it cost me such and such. Right. And so to add on to that is, if they're just breaking in, get out of the mentality of you're just a creator. You got to get out of that. You got to get out. If you want to keep money in your pocket, you're going to have to assume some responsibilities in being the quarterback of your brand. So you have to already be in a mindset to understand that, if, like you said, building a team. Well, not only do I need to build a team, and they need to be about me, but I need to be about them. So like I just said, so when it comes to investing in my cameraman, making sure he got the right equipment, the more money we getting, he shouldn't be out here looking dusty. Why? That's a reflection of you.
Right.
A PR girl, or somebody that, oh, you ain't gotta be a girl. I ain't gonna try to make it sexist, but you know what I mean? Like people that, like, you gotta have those people around you, because then next thing you know, you done created a whole media team.
Yep.
And whenever you decide to let go of rap, you got a whole business to run.
Yep. Because guess what? They bringing in more people underneath your umbrella.
I should write a book. Come on in here. You know what I mean? So I definitely would just say, man, just learn your craft and be a student of the game. One of the biggest things that I love about Kobe, rest in peace to him as well, was he wasn't the most athletic. He wasn't even the most gifted, but his work ethic and his love to learn, like being a student of the game, is what made him great. Like, that's it.
And I think that a lot of people fail to do that because they don't find it more educational. This is actually something I was talking to my sister about earlier today, because my sister is very boisterous when it comes to certain things about being healthy and eating right and stuff like that. And she feels like her voice isn't being heard. And I said, the one thing you can do when it comes to showing people is show them first, because you can show them better than you can tell them.
That's
and if they see you and they see the progress and they see the changes, then they're going to come to you and start asking questions. And I think when it comes to artists, they can show their talent all day, every day, but they need to have that voice heard too. So what are you doing so people can hear your voice? Because you can't just say, yo, I rap or I sing or I do this or I do that. Well, put your money where your mouth is. Let me see it. And don't shy about it when somebody puts you up for it right on, on the spot.
Exactly. Like one thing that I learned is that nobody cares. Because you got to remember, T, we are in a overly saturated market. And so everybody and their mother wants to make a song, right? And that's cute. That's great. But why am I paying you $1 million? Right? Like your neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Right, like your neighbor's literally doing the same exact. Why am I paying you?
But you know what's funny? Everybody work ethic ain't the same either. Everybody's not going to put in the work. I can honestly say I've come across artists that I have seen put in the work. I mean, like hours in the studio, at home, going over lyrics over and over again, keep playing the same thing. Oh, I've literally seen it. I've heard it. I've watched it for myself. And you can't take that from nobody, because that shows their passion and what they're trying to go towards. Now you can see other artists out here. They may say, oh, I got a little song out, blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, you do, but I don't never see you in a studio. I don't never hear about you in a studio. you always out with your boys doing X, Y, and Z. So how can I take you seriously as an artist when you're not even being one?
Can you? Ooh, they almost gave me a headache. Listen, because you gotta, you know how many DMs I get, yo, how many people pull up on me, yo, King, what's up? I'm trying to see what's up, y'all know what you, and then I go on their pages, man, and it's just like, what am I looking at, right? Or they so arrogant, so they like, well, who are you? And I'm like, well, listen, one thing if I can create a checklist, and in my artistry bag, I have more boxes than you do checked, then what are we talking about? Right? Like as simple as that. And that's not even going into who I work with, you know, where I've been, what God has allowed me to do, and how I'm able to be a blessing to other folk. But if I tell you, let's compare our careers, and you didn't be quiet. and they don't want to be humble, man. Like it wasn't until you know, as an artist, I think what really did the change for me was when my liaison at the time, to know, she told me, King, like your music is dope, but your numbers ain't popping like that, bro. Yo, that was so humbling because I was in that box.
Yeah.
So T, when I talk to artists and I come from the heart and I be talking, yo, that's from, listen, I mean, she shattered my, for a minute. She was like, I mean, you out here moving like Jay, but your numbers ain't, boy, you better go do a feature with one of these. And I was like, yo,
and I think that's another thing that artists fail to do is listen to other artists. Like you can use it as leverage of competition to like, yo, he did this or she did this, or I got to do it better. And don't make it like a hate thing, but make it like I have to better my craft. This is what I love to do. So how can I get to that level where they are? And this is what they did. Now, what can I do to make it better and get to where they are or further?
And cross marketing.
And yep, there you go.
I was just telling the young the gentleman that's at that meeting I was in about the importance of being able to stick together. You know, being, you know, even with the New York thing, traveling back and forth and coming here, but you know, in Baltimore, I just realized New York got to get it together too. Like New York still sounding just like the South, right? But to bring it over here to Baltimore, Baltimore still has a unique sound, but it's not unison. It's not in unison yet.
Because it's different. It's different crafts of people in Baltimore because they come from different parts though. A lot of people who come down here from New York live in Baltimore and then they bring their sound. And then people who are born and raised here, they got a distinct sound. It's different. It's different.
And I like it. I like the unapologetic rawness of Baltimore's rap sound. But like I said, I need 4 artists from the West Side collaborating with 4 artists from the East Side. I need up the hill and down the hill, right? I need a artist to have a skit from Smooth on it. You know what I'm saying? Like I need that, or Cool Ant. I need that. I need to see the camaraderie because the fan base mix-up causes for an explosion.
Do you think that during this pandemic that we're going through, what do you think artists should be doing right now?
Studying the business, doing all the boring stuff that they didn't have time to do because they was too busy popping bottles and smoking weed and and being in the gram with their guns. They need to sit in the house and learn what a 360 deal is. They need to learn about copyrights, how to copyright your music. If you don't want to have to pay people like me that took the time, people pay me my price because why? When they was out partying, having fun, I was in there in these board meetings. I was in these seminars. I'm in here studying on a weekend when I could have been at Euphoria. You know what I'm saying?
I get it. I totally get it.
So you gonna pay for this pain, bro.
There you go.
So yes, ma'am.
Before we get you gone, because I know you still in the car and it's getting dark, I want you to give people 3 top things in the industry that they need to know right now.
3 top things.
3 top things.
Get you a coach, like a consultant, or just somebody to help you if you can get one. The second thing is study. And what do you need to study? Study distribution. learn what your, and this is going to be twofold in this one. I'll answer the last one.
Okay.
Study distribution and the importance of copyright, like what that means. And the last thing is all artists need to be signed up with a PPO, which is a PRO, which is Performance Rights Organization, i.e. that's ASCAP or BMI. If y'all out here doing shows and you ain't registered, that's why you ain't getting no money.
There you go.
Next. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you so much for the interview today. I think it was very informative. I think that you kind of educated a whole lot of people today on the industry.
Absolutely.
So go ahead and drop your information. Let everybody know where they can find you.
Of course. Listen, everybody can follow me on Instagram or whatever platform at THE The Real. So that's The Real Y, like the letter KING. I'm here. Like I said, I'm dropping a website between this week and next week, which will be Caviar Society Incorporated. You'll be able to schedule appointments with me and all that. Hit my DM if you have any questions. We can set you up a consult. Let's break bread. And when this thing lifts, ask yourself, what side of the spectrum do you want to be on? Do you want to be a professional artist or do you want to be a rapper? You let me know. You heard?
Ooh, that's a good one. Dropping jewels. Thank you, Joaquin.
Thank you so much for having me.
And your energy today. It was very informative, very educational, of course. All right. And when we come back, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the editorial shade right here on Fashion Victuals Radio.
We be getting money everywhere, yeah. They don't even know. They be throwing shade everywhere.
Welcome back to Fashion Victuals Radio right here and on RipRadioNetwork.com. Hopefully everybody was getting a lot of jewels out of that last interview with Mr. Joaquin. Once I guess by the end of the week, we'll have it posted on YouTube if you missed any of it. Right now, we're going to jump right into the editorial shade. And
shade.
Had some shade earlier. We're going to jump into his shade. Let's hear it.
Yeah. So, as everyone was freaking out about this week or these next 2 weeks,
I know, right?
Huh?
I know. I heard about it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So everybody was like, "Okay, this is gonna be the rough 2 weeks. We can make it through it." Blah blah blah. So okay, I did. Mind you, I was running out of essential stuff, mostly food, and so I went to grocery shopping.
Okay.
So my main thing I needed to get is I found this dish online and I figured it's like, oh, okay, cool. I can, wanted to make something. So one of the things I needed was flour.
Okay.
So as I was thinking, as I was needing the flour, I somehow a couple of days prior saw a notice about stress baking. So I was like, okay, this is kind of weird. Okay. Didn't think nothing of it. But at the same time, kind of figured it's like, okay, I know stress eating, but stress baking? Okay. But then again, how you get the stress eating, you gotta bake something. So I was like, understandable. So as I was going to the grocery store, I go to try to get the flour. Now, I do see flour. I see like coconut flour. I see almond flour and all that stuff. But I needed an actual particular one I want.
Okay.
But the thing is, I look everywhere else. I see nothing. No flour whatsoever. Gone. The big ones, the small ones, all of it. Gone. I'm like, are you fracking me? So I see the Bisquick boxes, I see those, they were running low on that, I saw like, huh?
I say, yeah, they are running low on those too.
Yeah. So I was thinking, we always say the fact of, okay, when people whenever it's winter, we always see people with toilet paper, milk, and bread. And we figured it's like, okay, they're going to be eating French toast for the next God knows how long. I mean, honestly. So in this case scenario, I know that full well, and I bet you there would be a lot of parents I've been cooking a lot of waffles and pancakes for God knows how many times. And also on top of that, probably the stressful baking. And speaking of baking, I asked this to Miss Candace, who will be on next week. So just to give a shout out. And I asked if she's going to be, have you done any stressful baking? And she said no, because, you know, certain things have happened. But yeah, I can understand some people stressing on the baking part. But let me add on this added shade. Okay. I also been reading on a lot of people of the gender sex who've been posting and complaining about, oh, I miss the days of going out and having a nice meal and all that bullshit. And I'm like, okay, F that. This is the golden opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. I would put this in the gentlemen as well. A golden opportunity to test your cooking skills. Because honestly, a lot of people who probably follow you and will probably sit there and wonder, it's like, okay, what you got cooking tonight? Because mind you, you can't go anywhere unless you are so damn lazy you want to go up to a McDonald's that is probably walking distance from your street.
Right.
Honestly, I feels like, no, this is the golden opportunity to improve your cooking skills, people. Quit complaining about some fine dining restaurant that you missed out on, that you've been going for since God knows when, since it's open, and you wasting a lot of money on a dinner that you probably only you had once. And if you saved enough, you know, you had enough leftover, you only took a couple of bites out of it and it was done. You were able to cook in your house. You're able to cook a week-long meal if you wanted to. You can probably recreate the meal that you had at that particular restaurant. But no, you're complaining of fact is like, oh, I miss my tuna whatever, you know, that with the salmon roll and all that bullshit. Make your fucking own. Damn it. All the essentials that you keep buying are probably cookies and all that crap. No, go and make some shit. That's all that I feel is like you people need to stop complaining about some fine dining restaurant. They'll when they come back, I will bet you they'll be okay. Hopefully they'll be okay. We're praying that they're okay. But the main thing though is improve your cooking skills. This is your chance. This is your shot. You, Tierra, I've seen your cooking skills. I've seen you posting your dinners. See, there's nothing wrong with that. Miss Candace posts her dinners. I don't because, well, I have from time to time, but honestly, it's like, look, I can cook. I've proven it. So, hey, you all prove yourself, prove the person that you're quarantined with and say, hey, I can cook some set instead of like reheating some Hot Pocket that you had in the freezer for the last God knows how long. So that's my
I totally agree with you. Honestly, part of me going to different restaurants is because I always want to go home and create the meal myself. And I think that's what has made my cooking as where it is now, because I always want to go home and try, let me make this, or let me try to make that based on restaurant experiences that I have. So I think that is a phenomenal idea for people, howsoever. Not everybody, not everybody likes to watch food. Not everybody likes to take the time out to cook food, or in baking, especially baking. Oh my God, baking! I'm not a baker. I will be I'm not a baker. I can cook all day, every day, whatever you want. Whether it's Indian, Mexican, Italian, Caribbean, Vietnamese, I can cook it. But when it comes to trying to make a cake or some muffins or a cupcake, that's not my department. I'll be first to say that's not my department.
I like I said, I made an attempt during the last, throwdown showdown with Miss Candace, and I saw some of the cringe faces from my sister and Miss Angela Baskin, but again, it was, mind you, I was happy we didn't judge that. But our next it will be judged. And mind you, I have some ideas of what to make. But the thing is like, that's right now is the time to test. This is a great time to, mind you, you got your guinea pigs. If you're quarantined with people, you got your guinea pigs.
Solo.
Yeah. Yeah, or you could do it by yourself. Just make sure that you got some Pepto Bismol on hand and some ginger ale.
You're right. I think that I'm going to attempt to bake something. I'm thinking about making a cheesecake. I hate cheesecake, but my grandmother and a few people in my family love cheesecake. So I want to attempt to try to make my grandma's favorite, which is key lime cheesecake. She loves it. She gets it from the Cheesecake Factory all the time. But that, and then I may attempt. So my other grandmother, God rest her soul, she used to make biscuits, fresh biscuits every morning.
Not my mama's biscuits. Not my mama's biscuits.
I don't bake. So baking is going to be something that I'm going to put a notch in and try to at least put a notch in under my belt. Now, what I will say is I did buy the KitchenAid mixer, that $300 mixer. I bought that about 5 years ago because I wanted to learn how to bake. And I think that you have to have the best equipment to do it. Now, I've attempted to, I did make cupcakes with it. I followed some recipe and made cupcakes. They came out okay. I think they were a little too sweet, but I think that I use it more so for like when I'm cooking, other things about, like when I need to mix something together, I use it for that. But yeah, I think that one thing I need to do is work on my baking skills.
I mean, have you made like pancakes or waffles?
All day, every day.
I mean, right there is a start. So, I mean, if you
but it doesn't have to go in the oven. It goes on top of it.
I mean, mind you, pancakes. I mean, hence the word cake. So, I mean, it's I think you if you could do something simple as that, I think you could graduate. And if you can follow the directions, that's the simple thing.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
I mean, my mom, when I told her about the mild failure of my cheesecake attempt, she asked us, like, did you put enough sugar in there? And I was like, I thought I did, because she reminded me of the fact that with baking, you have to, there's one thing when you're cooking like meals, it's like that consists of, you could throw in whatever this and this, add in more later, or add whatever. So, but with baking, you have to be precise. You have to follow the measurements. And it's like, okay, I get that. So
it takes time.
True, but I mean, that's the other thing. See, a lot of people forget the fact is like, I bet you the main reason why people complain of why they rather eat out than staying home and cook for themselves or cook for whomever is the simple fact is it takes time. A lot of dishes need to be cleaned afterwards. A lot of plates need to be cleaned afterwards. Me, it's a stress relief. It's like I'm in my zone when I'm cooking. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm thinking, like, mind you, my sister jokes about it when she was on when we're back in the studio. I remember those days. And she mentioned the fact that I watched a lot of Food Network. Iron Chef was one of my main shows to watch. And yeah, I thought of myself as, Masaharu Morimoto. I thought of that way. I mean, even before that, even before the show even existed, I always fully focused on what needs to be cooked, because, and I do remember my first meal that I made for my family that led to me cooking for a dinner party within months later. And it's like, yeah, my son, my parents like, yeah, but did you cook this? Yeah, everyone was talking to my dad and my mom, and especially my mom, because my mom's like a great cook, and stuff. And it's like, no, Brian did this. It's like, what? And everybody lived, just to remind people. And yeah, so the thing is like, if as long as I was like doing this for a long, long time, I like cooking. It's it's relaxing and all that stuff. It's it's fun. Yeah, think of it as a stress relief. Don't think of it as a chore. And I think a lot of people forget about. They think of it as like, oh, I got to go home and cook something. Oh, Lord is me. And it's like, if you think in your head as like what you want to eat and you have the ingredients ready and available for you, hey, boom, you can cook something within minutes and it won't be it won't be that stressful.
And just so I want to tell the audience now, it's probably going to start soon, but I'm going to start blogging about food again. This is how I got into Fashion Victuals in the first place, because I used to blog about food and fashion, but I'm definitely going to start blogging about food again as of the 1st of May. Because I think that everybody has a different experience when it comes to cooking. Like you said, it's a huge stress reliever. For me, it's the same thing. I don't care about the dishes or nothing like that. That's what a dishwasher is for. I mean, that's
putting it into the slots.
But it is a huge stress reliever, and just having the right things on hand. I think that what I want to do is show people, like, even the things that you're afraid to cook can still be done in a real way. And I think that a lot of people miss that. And I do agree. I think that people should use this time to kind of focus on either heightening their cooking skills. I've seen so many people, honestly, I've seen a lot of people cooking since the quarantine. People I didn't even knew how to cook. I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? There's been that kind of moment. Like, and
well, mind you should ask us, how does it taste? Because they made it look good, but does it taste good?
That's a good point. That's a good point. It could look good, but it may not taste as good. So I did ask, and they was like, it was really good, and it was some type of Asian dish, and and I've seen people making different things. And to me, I love cooking. So before the quarantine, I was cooking and posting little things here and there. It's just that when life gets away from you, you can't do it as much. And being that I do have time to do it now, my refrigerator is fully stocked with like natural vegetables, natural fruits, fresh meat from the Amish market, and I'm off the vegan thing now. So meat again. But it's just things like that. It's just taking your time. And when it comes to bacon, like when you're making certain things, when it comes to bacon, you have to it takes even more time. Like if you have to put together something that's breadish, you got to wait for the dough to rise. That could take 2-3 hours. Then you got to put it in the oven, which takes another hour. It's always the preparation, then the waiting, then the, putting it in the oven. Then you got to wait till it cool off before you serve it. That's when baking gets too much. But I do agree. I think that people should look at it as a healing instead of a chore. There you go. A healing instead of a chore.
Yeah, I've known I've seen, let's see, when it like Chopped and shows like that, and I remember a priest was on there, and he was like, it helped him, he found a spiritual awakening through cooking. And things like that. So there's always something, you find something. Everyone, like I said, will find something if they end up cooking something. And like I said, those who complain are the ones who probably haven't, they'll say, I can cook. And it's like, can you? Because I see a lot of menus, takeout menus and everything. So it's kind of like, you have to prove it to me. Mind you, I went up against a certified chef.
You sure did.
So I mean, come on now. So unless you prove me wrong, mind you, it's like, look, everyone will say, no one can go against my mama's cooking and everything. And
I love my mama dearly, but some people can go against her cooking.
Yeah. And then like my dad, he cooks, but he's that he's that country food. So I'm always when I was a kid reminded of the hog maws and chitlins, and when it smells. Think about this. Think of those who are so into that. Mind you, I would be freaking out, literally, because he'll do it late at night. I'll always remember this. He does it. He cooks it late at night, I'm like, what the hell is that freaking smell? I will come downstairs and one is like, are you fracking serious? And it's just like, man, I'm hungry, blah, blah, blah. I mean, he'll eat it late at night and all that stuff, reheat it and all this. And I was like, are you kidding me? Literally kidding me. Because I hated that smell. I mean, it's like I just can't. But if you find the healing power of cooking, find it. But damn it, save some damn flour for some other people. Please don't hoard it all like everybody's hoarded the potato, like the freaking paper towels and toilet paper. I mean, no, you don't need all that damn flour.
Through these shelves, like completely went through these shelves. But I will say this. I think that if you're buying the right things, they should be there. Like flour should be there, but I know a lot of people like to fry stuff.
Right.
So it wasn't going to be on the shelf. I'm just saying. A lot of people like to fry stuff. But yeah, I think that especially when you like born or raised into a family who does love to cook, it kind of comes naturally for you. So even though you may not have been born and raised in a family that like to cook or love to cook, just take this time out to learn a new craft. Like you said, put up your culinary skills.
Here's the funny thing. You just thinking this, just what you're saying now. And I was thinking, it's like, think about the celebrities. I'm just thinking, it's like, okay, it's probably been a minute since they probably cooked anything. They
cook now or being stuck in the house and cook, especially those who have kids. Maybe they got personal chefs that come over because it could be 10 or less people in the house.
I mean, probably their quote unquote personal chef is probably have to stay home, with their family. So it's like, I can't do anything now. It's just like, okay, so how did you? And they'll probably call, how do you boil this water? How you make scrambled eggs? I mean, it's just like
crazy, right?
I mean, mind you, I'm joking now, but then again, there could be some people who will probably making those calls and asking, where does this go? And all that stuff, because they never learned, and because they always had, some butler or whomever cooking for them.
Yeah,
so.
Or a chef. Hey, so. We'll see how it goes. I guarantee you, like the next week or so, people are probably going to be posting up some more food. Trust me.
Probably.
All right.
So, but that's all.
You sure?
That's my shade.
Damn, Brian, I think I gotta get my baking skills up now.
Hey.
That's one thing I'm not good at, but I think that every challenge is worth at least trying. So I'm gonna try to do that now.
There we go. So no harm in trying. Okay, mind you, right now the only guinea pig you got is your dog, but you don't want to feed him anything, like human food.
Huh. She loves it. I haven't done it though. I won't feed her. Every blue moon, if I have like extra chicken or something, I'll give her the chicken, but I won't give her like the seasoning and stuff on it. But other than that, no, I don't give my dog table food at all. But I do buy her natural dog food, where it's not like the ingredients in it and stuff. She got to eat just as clean as her mama. So
okay,
that BS. What is that? Alpo. I can't even believe Alpo is still in business.
Hey, was it 60 years plus or almost 70 years?
People feed their dog that stuff.
Hey.
Early grave.
Shit, it's enough for a human to eat. So, hey.
True. And kibbles and bits.
Kibbles and bits and it's a bacon and all that stuff.
my dog. So I actually switched my dog's food from Nutra to Fresh Pet. So Fresh Pet, I had to look like, well, I need to make sure that she's not eating nothing crazy. But she likes it. It's pretty good. The only thing is you got to keep it in your refrigerator.
Oh. Yeah. I seen like, what was that commercial where the guy, I think he's a corporate guy, and he's feeding his dog like fancy treats or whatever, and it seems like like it's all nicely fresh and all that stuff. And it just seemed like too dignified for any dog to have. But yeah, it seems like you have to like take it out of the refrigerator.
I feel like these dogs are very high maintenance now.
Yeah.
They're not dogs no more. They're actually humans on 4 legs. That's part of the family. So if you say, oh, I'm gonna get rid of my dog, they're gonna be like, oh, you're gonna get rid of your child? Like, but I'm not gonna get rid of my dog. I'm not. She'll be 9 in a couple months. So she's getting up there.
Understandable.
All right. So let's wrap this up. Thank you, Brian, for your editorial shade. It was actually enlightening. I've been educated and enlightened to this evening. I was educated on the music industry. Now I'm enlightened that I need to work on my damn baking. Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, no everybody. Tune in next Wednesday right here, 7 p.m. on Fashion Victuals Radio, only at ripradionetwork.com. We're going to have Miss Candace in the building. Hopefully she can give us some cooking tips since we both are, in the kitchen. So, but she's professional. She's a professional.
Yes.
Also, just be tuned and watch the topics post and see you next week.
Bye, folks.
Peace.